Hello everyone and welcome to A Link to the Past randomizer cross key tournament. We're coming up to the final few matches, and today we have Megawott versus Illus with 2 atts for Megawott specifically. Anyways, we have our 2 wonderful commentators today, Frostbite and Goomba. Say hello, you two.
Heyo.
Hello, and I will send you the $20 after the show for introducing us so kindly.
So, anyways, the race is off, so feel free to take over, you guys.
Thank you very much. And not surprisingly, knowing these 2 runners, they're both going to be doing the similar start that I know my co-commentary Goomba is a fan of, and that I specifically don't do because it is a good start, and everyone else does it. So let's see how this gets off.
Well, starting off with a sword right off the bat, that's pretty nice.
For sure. A sword and the wrong side of a bad connector.
Screw this connector, it's stupid, I hate it. Both of them making the smart choice of not following the stupid connector, because nobody wants to follow that stupid connector.
Yeah, the best time to follow that in seriousness, though, will be if they find the mushroom at that point, if they're more desperate for, map locations as opposed to items at a certain point.
Yeah, it's also relatively quick to come back to if you find the flute.
Yeah, exactly.
And Ganon just hanging out. Nice of him to not be under the lumberjack tree for once.
Yeah, this is very... Maybe we'll get to see a nice, maybe like Kakariko well under the lumberjack tree or something like that.
Or it could just be, one of the scoutable one-offs, and then it's a big key, and it's like the Skullwoods big key, and they both get baited.
Oh, the best. Yeah, and I mean, another reason why they're not going to go through that connector, they're specifically doing this route to get this money, and getting off that connector, it just leads you away from that.
Yeah, the only time I really take a connector in that, which is odd, is if it happens to be the old man rescue cave. Death Mount's just so valuable. Anyway, both of them heading up to the castle. Fairly common opener. Some bombs from the tier 1 build, basically exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, exactly. This is ideal.
And the useless fairy drop down. Which is not ideal. You would like to see that, well, under the lumberjack tree.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I guess that shop is useless, but almost finding something there that is useless is almost the best case scenario.
Yeah, so you don't have to come back later.
This is really going to be an interesting match if they literally do the exact same thing the whole time.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I know, I'm joking, but it is kind of interesting. And that's an okay sanctuary spot.
Yeah, it's not great, but we've got a sword and a bombos. Where's Ice Palace?
Exactly.
Lost Woods isn't a great sanctuary spot, but it's not terrible.
At least it's something on the west side of the world. Yeah. Now you hope that maybe one of the other ones is in Kakariko Village.
Yeah, I mean, I think the well might be the best one.
Yeah, for sure.
But this isn't terrible.
Yeah, and the other one's a bit of a pain because it is hammer locked. So not that I have experience with forgetting stuff back there for hours.
Yep, I definitely didn't leave my boots in there for like an hour once. Didn't happen. So we are seeing a slight bit of divergence here.
Well, and Illus accidentally noping out of one of the scoutable locations. Let's see what it ends up being. Blue shirt. Almost certainly never going to be picked up.
Yeah, I don't see that being picked up. And we find the dam right off the bat in Kakariko. That's not bad. Bumper cave in the lumberjack hut. That's annoying. Not even the good end of Bumper cave.
Yeah, that's probably one of my least favorite locations in the game.
Yeah, it's...
Never seem to find it in a convenient time when you have the items to get through it.
Yeah, let's gonna walk over and check the Sanctuary. Bookshot Cave popping up. And Sanctuary is the well, so that's 5 glove-locked items right there.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of runners do sort of avoid this top of the area until they find a glove, because even finding that, I mean, once you find the glove, you're going to go there fairly quickly in almost any circumstance.
Yeah, agreed. Although with Sanctuary being where it is, it's understandable to go up there right away.
Yeah, you're almost certainly going to run past it at some point, whether you want to or not. I agree. And on the other hand, you can just clear off a couple of those ugly locations, and maybe you often end up in that area of the world without the required items to open all the doors, especially early.
Yeah, it's so uncommon that you actually get a glove before you end up going there, so may as well just go there, right?
Yeah, after the early sword, not really running into a whole lot of interest.
And we've already seen every drop down, so we can confirm that Uncle is hanging out on the pyramid, making the GT climb 6 items as opposed to 4. And Skullwoods is our green pendant today.
Yeah, that's I personally am not a fan of the Skullwoods green pendant because it is a dungeon that has so many ways you can complete it when you find. I mean, basically, just sequence breaking it with the lamp or with the fire rod. I guess there's 2 ways, but it's a really quick dungeon on top of it.
Yeah, but at the same time, at least it's the green pendant, so Mafia at least just becomes 2 quick checks.
Yeah, exactly, and you're almost certainly going to kill Mothula when you find it in most cases anyways, so being the green pendant is...
Like, as long as you have a fire source and a sword, you're just killing Mothula when you find it, basically.
Yeah, I might hedge if I'm like, if it's fighter sword, I'm on 4 hearts and it's super early or something like that. But I completely agree with you on that front. I almost feel that way in most cases about any dungeon. If I have everything to full clear a dungeon when I find it, unless it's really endgame and I'm only looking for a few things, I'm probably just gonna.
So we find Spiral Cave and Spike Cave right next to each other in Kakariko, which is actually kind of nice, because they are moderately god-awful locations to come back to, and having them in such accessible spots is pretty nice.
East Death Mountain Transport. Hyrule Castle's always an interesting find early, too.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm particularly fond of like finding things that are just moderately out of sequence and then trying to figure out what the game actually wanted me to do to find this thing. And these 2 basement locations might be my favorites.
Yeah. These can be really funny when you end up getting like a major item here, like a hammer or something, and then you get the Hyrule Castle small key like an hour and a half later.
Yeah, exactly. Hyrule Castle also a much more convenient connector dungeon than say Desert Palace, simply because it doesn't take 9 years to run through it all and scout it. So I'd be probably tempted to scout this whole thing and cross it off.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd probably also go and die in the dark trying to check that middle chest too, but I think Megawott might be a bit more adept at it than I am in Illus.
I personally like to skip that if Hyrule Castle is accessible, and just get it later when I'm passing through with the mirror or something.
Yeah, I agree. I skip it too because I stink at the dark room, but it seems to be the #1 chest that burns me, not only in this mode but in any mode. So I've actually recently been just trying to figure it out dark without anything, and to be able to not skip it.
I don't really mind the dark rooms. It's just really annoying and time-consuming to death warp in the dark.
For sure. I find I sometimes struggle to open the chest for whatever reason. I just haven't got a good muscle memory down for sort of the little movement. You have to go out from the wall to open it. I just...
And Megawott Megawott is going for it. Yes, this is best of 3, this is game 1. We don't know when they're going to be playing their next game. It's not going to be after this one. Well, it's going to be after this one, but not directly after this one.
Unless they have a time machine we don't know about. Best part of watching ALttPR the dark room.
For sure. It's really just exhilarating gameplay here. All this blackness.
Yeah, the other thing that's interesting about Hyrule Castle is sometimes when you're, maybe not paying attention and you forget that you've entered it. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but if you enter it from the Dark World, I believe the enemies are Dark World enemies, and you're just going through there nonchalantly thinking, oh, these snakes won't be a problem, and then you die immediately.
Yeah, and then suddenly the snakes do 2 hearts of damage.
And take 4 shots with the fighter sword.
Yep. Illus opting to leave to check out the rest of Kakariko. Not checking Dark Cross either. Megawott also not checking the other exits.
It'd be interesting to see if they continue south or if they go back there, and there it is.
Well.
Would you just go in here right now, Goomba?
Well, if I had magic, I might.
I mean, assuming you could enter it, good point.
But, something's gonna be in there, I can tell you that.
Yeah, the annoying thing is, of course, with that Uncle location, that is sort of the one early game free magic pickup that you can normally get in an entrance.
Yeah. I mean, if you're grabbing the Fraser chest, at that point you may as well grab all 4. Like, Ice Tea Room really isn't that far from Fraser if you don't do the bomb jump. I'm thinking about it.
It can just be annoying, though, without a key and having to... Then you gotta come back and check the room behind the chest.
Yeah. Nice meme, Allison. Great Ledge is a nice find early, just for the bomb farm. If I had magic, I would probably go in for the first chest in Ice Palace, but no more.
Yeah, it's really low health still, and even though the Ice Palace dungeon, at these players' level isn't going to be that much of a problem, it's still pretty deadly at 4 hearts and green.
Yeah, for sure. Alright, Illus heading back up towards Kakariko, probably to follow some connector. Megawott also doing that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're both beelining back to Hyrule Castle. Or maybe they haven't finished opening the doors here. Spiral Cave, yeah.
Makes sense, it's an item, and knowing where this one goes is nice, because it takes forever.
Yeah, I tend to like to go through Spiral Cave because it's horrible, and I figure it's one of the spots that my opponents might delay, and if there's something there, it can be... Once you delay it, it becomes a really hard trip to come back to. And it quickly becomes something you last locate.
It's definitely something I like getting out of the way if it's convenient. When you find a big key to Turtle Rock, that's a pretty good big key to find, all things considered.
Yeah, for sure.
And, ooh, that's a... Oh.
Really powerful connector right there.
This works out nicely for Illus because he gets to cross off 2 connectors for the price of 1.
Yeah, it is a shame that entrance is Spiral Cave, because if you do end up having to go through it 3 or 4 times without the boots, it can become pretty annoying.
Yeah, I've definitely had seats before where my only Dark World access for the first 2 hours was going through Spiral Cave repeatedly, and it's not fun.
And the Ghost in Dark Sanctuary with some great enlightenment.
Absolutely. Oh, is this divergence? Is it happening? They're doing different things. Wow.
South Shore versus East. Who's gonna win? Game over. I do like coming south to get that damn item, though. I don't know why. I like to get it right away when I do it, because it's something you slips your mind again. Or maybe I just have a terrible memory, and that's my problem.
It is one that I tend to forget more often than not. I had one seed, but I left my Canis of Moria sitting there for like an hour. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I've definitely had some issues with items there for extended period of time. And Illus choosing to actually forgo that connector to scout the desert area, probably gonna maybe check the ledge item in the Guinness.
Yeah, I imagine he'll take a peek at the ledge, check the Guinness cave, and then come back for that connector. Bottle, which isn't very useful since we already have one.
Yeah, and the fairy can be, until you get the mirror, it just becomes something you're gonna throw away or waste time.
And the other end of Hookshot Cave. So that's another connector and CAC eliminated.
Is that the first shop we've seen?
It might have been.
So conveniently located at Eastern Palace?
I think Megawott found another one in this area. But I don't think there was any shops in CAC. Well, that's a pretty useless connector, but...
We have this on crossed and not just full shuffle, right? I'm joking.
I did type .cross keys.
No, and I know, and Illus did get transitioned through to the Dark World already. But it's interesting that they found a lot of these connectors going to useless spots elsewhere in the Light World.
Yeah, although that is a nice entrance to be able to cross off, because that is one of the more annoying mirror spots to have to come back for if you've been there without
For
them.
sure, for Yeah, and Illus is going to give us a peek of these Hyrule Castle connectors.
And we've got Death Mountain access. That's pretty nice. And a only moderately awful potion shop. Could be a lot worse.
Yeah, for sure.
And the bow.
That's a nice item to find.
That's a nice find.
Yeah, for sure. All those items that you're like, okay, I won't be looking for that at the end of the game.
Yeah, although this mode has like 15 of those as opposed to the usual like 3 or 4, so...
You can only cross them off one at a time, right?
Yeah, Thieves Town's a nice find as well, though.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's my favorite dungeon to find without the things to complete it, because it's sort of a fixed 4 and out, no op.
Yeah. And yeah, we find a small key to Ice Palace, so this is getting better and better.
Oh yeah, Ice Palace is screaming right now. And it's interesting that I've noticed that each one of them has gotten a ton of bomb drops, and it looks like Illus found, or I'm sorry, Megawott. Oh, there's half magic.
Well, that's pretty nice, actually.
You want them to get magic, start talking about how they haven't found any magic yet.
Yeah, and there you go, half magic. Just pops out right away. Think about walking back down to CAC, probably to chase some of these other connectors. Megawatt's got a good bit of stuff left. He has several connectors he hasn't followed. He hasn't gone south yet. He's got a good bit left. Another shop. And the rare instance of actually having a bottle when you find the 6th bit. Amazing.
You almost guarantee you know that he's not going to produce anything in that scenario.
Yeah, it's only when he's at like Eastern Palace and you find a bottle like 2 minutes after saving quitting out of there that you know he's going to have progression.
For sure, that's the same with any of these things, it seems.
worst to finish Mimic Cave though.
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm his most experienced Cross Keys runner, but I've played a lot of Cross Keys, especially since this tournament started. I don't think I've ever once found Mimic Cave with the hammer, and I've had Go Mode in there a number of times.
Well, I have, but I can assure you that I've never once found Mimic Cave with the hammer and actually had it have anything useful.
Of course.
It's only when you find it in some god-awful location and you get the hammer like 20 minutes later that it's actually anything useful.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they've cleared up most of the map. It wouldn't be surprising to me if that Moon Pearl is actually what's hanging out nice.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the Moon Pearl's an Ice Palace at this point.
Because other than, like, I guess, I mean, I don't know if they've checked Mini Moldorm Cave or the Ice Rod Cave area, but most of the rest of the world's been cleared up, I think.
Yeah, we haven't seen Mini Moldorm Cave or the Ice Rod area, but other than that, we've seen pretty much the entire Light World at this point. Except for West Death Mountain, which we haven't found a connector to yet.
Yeah, every accessible point, sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, it's hard to say what's going through their heads because they're both probably thinking so strongly about Ice Palace right now. But
yeah,
there's not that many other entrances left to check. So do you want to go in there and not find what you're looking for? You know what
I mean, at the same time, I think I would rather go into Ice Palace at this point than walk over to Ice Rod Cave area without a glove.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's like my sort of feelings on a lot of the dungeons. I'd almost rather double dip them, in this case without glove or hammer, than go in with one.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks like Illus
connectors left.
is going to Ice Palace.
Well, we have two connectors left. We have the right side exit from Howell Castle, and we have the one at the Witch's Hut that neither one of them followed. One of those could take us up to the west side of Death Mountain, which would be a lot more checks, but...
Yeah, I feel he just needed to bomb both.
Yeah, he's going. Megawott is not going.
I don't think Megawatt's checked the dam item or anything south here yet. He did take the hookshot cave through.
Yeah. He just took the hookshot cave connector. Yeah, that's when I went back, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think he's spied it and either save quit and or retreated.
Yeah.
Let's take good use of that bomb. Well, it's obviously a slow cast, but without Tempered Sword or Hookshot.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than just killing them with Master Sword spins or something.
Yep. Yeah, I feel as long as you have a reasonable way to kill the Pen Gators, and for me, bombs isn't a reasonable way in that first room. Ice Palace isn't the scariest dungeon when you're not planning on full clear.
Yeah, the only really scary part of Ice Palace is Coaster himself. And we find out that Magic Bat just has a map.
I know that bombs work great. I'm terrible at them, though.
I haven't practiced the bomb setup for that first room, like, at all. Probably should.
I've nailed it once, but I've only YOLO'd it a half dozen times, and it usually takes forever. But you watch people who are good at it, though, and it might even be faster. That might be the fastest way to clear that room.
I don't know, I think Quake's probably the fastest.
Yeah, Hookshot's pretty quick, too. Oh, and so much for Divergent.
Yeah.
Well, Megawatt takes a quick nap.
Oh, Megawatt was just checking the first distance, leaving. Okay.
Oh, he just
So
left.
we are getting divergence. Illus might need to be careful here. And get a potion, I guess. It's kind of a sad place to use your potion, but...
Yeah, I actually probably, even though I had the key, would have routed that room last for that very reason, even though it does add a huge amount onto the length.
Yeah, I could see that. This is pretty precarious. Find a Moonpearl locked Eastern Palace. The TR bridge, I believe that was Hyrule Castle, right? Ice Palace not really paying out yet. We found small keys to Castle Tower, Desert Palace, and Palace of Darkness, which don't really do us a whole lot of good.
Yeah, I don't think they found a Desert Palace entrance yet.
Yeah, we have not seen Desert Palace yet, but I mean that's maybe a good thing. Finding that key before finding Desert Palace always feels nice. Cause
yeah,
walking
for sure.
through Desert Palace when you can only open the one chest just feels really bad.
It's the worst. And actually, nothing in this section in Ice Palace interesting.
Yeah, just some keys, which again don't really do us a whole lot of good. So
yeah, I wouldn't be. I'm actually wondering if there is a Desert Palace entrance in the Ice Rod Cave area.
It seems likely at this point. It could be some bunny shenanigans though.
Oh yeah, because they got this top access. You're right.
Like it could be they could have to like bunny to desert.
Bunny to Desert Palace.
Oh, Megawott takes a death from a murder actil. That's a rip.
Yeah, that is the downside of that connector. That's actually one of the things I loaded up on the practice hack and figured out when I started doing engines, because I kept. So you can Super Bunny glitch Eastern by running off that cliff in the left room, correct? I've never done it before.
Yeah, you can.
That would be a scenario where I might consider it in that specific location.
I probably wouldn't bother. Oh, Megawott finds the old man cave in Mini Moldorm, so we do have West F Mountain access, albeit out of logic.
Yeah, exactly.
And Illus following as well, so we'll see some more convergence here. It's a pretty linear seed so far.
Yeah, very stingy, health-wise, money-wise even, because they both hula-hand and have haven't found a lot of at the other side of Bumper Cave.
Well, that's nice to know, I guess. And there's Desert Palace. This could be good for Illus if the small key locks something good. Something not to go in though, presumably going to check out the rest of the mountain first, so we can actually go through the entire dungeon.
Yeah, this makes total sense to me. Because it seems like inevitably you dive in there, the other two connectors would be dead, you check the next entrance up here, and you'd find the big key. That's just how this game seems to work sometimes.
Definitely. So this is out of logic, though. I would expect there's probably another Desert Palace entrance over at the Ice Shard Cave area at this point. Oh,
yeah.
And we have actual accessible Paradox Cave entrance. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it feels like this is logically available, even though it isn't.
The cape would also put this in logic by letting them go through Bumper Cave, I guess.
Yep. Obviously Flute as well.
Castle Tower, which we will be able to get both chests in because the Castle Tower gave him Ice Palace. And there's a glove in Paradox.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other Ice Palace small key. Nice.
I really hope that was going to be the big key to Ice Palace.
And there's a Pearl.
Out of logic, the best.
Yeah, who cares?
There's no way that this either Paradox Cave or Desert Palace isn't in logic right now. One of them.
Yeah, I mean they've got access to a Ice Shard Cave area. They can access a bunch of entrances. A bunny. I'm willing to bet you Illus right now is about to walk out of the Village Podcast right now. Well, I guess not.
It's always annoying when you come out of an entrance you can't go back in. Even if it's a place you might want to go to.
Yeah. Especially now that he left Desert Palace behind. He did skip for the moment, yes. Mostly because he got locked up. Yeah, see, there we go. The seed wanted you to bunny walk all the way down here. That's ridiculous.
Maximum bunny walk.
And Misery Mire entrance is nothing. Megawott takes a death in the Dark Maze. Presumably on purpose. I did not see if he got the item, but I would assume he did. We find a vanilla Desert Palace map. That's good.
So nothing in that first chest in Desert. That's really good for Megawott.
Not really paying off, so yeah, Megawott avoids a pretty hefty time sink there in Ice Palace for now.
Yeah, it seems like there's no way he'll be going back to Ice probably until he can clear it at this point, having already dipped the first. Or, you know, being last located into it.
Well,
finding all the boot spots.
That's good.
And it's Spiral Cave time, probably. I guess... Oh no, he doesn't have the hammer. He's just got one glove.
I'm surprised he didn't send quick to the old man.
I think he's... yeah, that's another thing. It looks like he's maybe going over to the Ice Rod Cave area.
He might be going back up to the mountain.
Looks like he's not even sure what he's doing.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. He's doing something.
Going to check the other glove rock.
Yeah, I guess. Why not?
I don't know, is that bad routing, bad pathing? What's the description for making fun of Illus when he runs in circles?
I'm not sure. Not really sure what that
I'm an expert at it, though. That's why I want to know. I got to use it more when I'm talking to nobody when I'm streaming.
That was some I think Shireen would use the term muffin routing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're in Turtle Rock now.
Yeah. The most high value chest in the game in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, time for Chomp Room to pop off yet again. Give us some boots maybe. Hammer. Big 20.
That big 20 would let them clear Zoro.
It's true.
Well, at least Illus.
Well, Megawott finds the Titan's mitts. That seems pretty good.
Yes, yes it does. Titan's Mit's a very interesting item in Entrance because their value is so variable depending on the scene.
Yeah, mostly depending on whether or not you need them to get into the Maya region.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know, the number of times that I'm at the end of the game and it's like, are you telling me I'm going to have to go into Turtle Rock? It seems surprisingly common. But yeah, there's only, what, 4 or 5 entrances hardlocked by the mitts, if that. The 2?
3, I think. Ice Palace, Hammer Pegs, Turtle Rock.
Ice Palace, that's it, yeah.
It is convenient for routing here, though, because you can just continue this up north into Village of Outcasts with those mitts.
For sure lets you climb the little mountain there. Oh, just 3 bombs in the chops.
Blind's Hut, that's a pretty good find. Hopefully. In theory.
It feels good at least until you check it, yeah.
Yep. Feels good until you open the chest and you get like 9 bombs. Well, the flute's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, especially with those mitts.
Yeah, although we know one entrance into my region is nothing, so...
Yeah. Yeah, and then without the mirror, it's obviously lesser.
Yeah, right now it's only 3 entrances accessible in that region, but still pretty solid.
Yeah, and it's a potential multiplier when you find more items too.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know anything about Dig Game, would you, Goomba?
I've never skipped the dig game and gotten punished in my life. It's never happened. To be honest, I'm not sure how I managed to do that yesterday. It was pretty interesting.
Honestly, it was one of the funniest clips. Check out the clip on Goomba's channel of him last locating the flippers at Dig Game yesterday in a race. It was very good reaction.
Flute gets us into the Misery Maya region with the mitts, which has 3 entrances we can check at the moment. It's not the greatest, but it's not bad.
Yeah, and obviously it just makes traversing the light world so much faster.
Yeah, it's just also a great tool for moving around, especially since neither one of them has gone down to the Ice Arcade area yet. It's a pretty big time save there. We got a hint about Maya itself, yeah. It's just a fairy fountain. And the Ice Palace entrance is also dead, further devaluing our mitts.
The porcelain.
The powder is again in his tower. That's not the most helpful hint. I believe it was maybe a little bit lost.
Yeah, it seems like he got stuck up around the top.
Yeah, probably got bullied by a guard or something.
Yeah, the map of Ice Palace.
And we find Swamp Palace, which has a bit of a unique situation with the hint, where sometimes the hint just becomes inaccessible.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm gonna delay draining the swamp so that I can read the hint and then forget where the dam is. Yeah, you just gotta drain it. That's another place. It never seems you find swamp with flippers unless you're finding it super late game.
Yeah, I actually had a pretty funny seed where the hint in Swamp Palace said that the Cane of Samaria was at the top of Ganon's tower, and the flippers were locked behind the Cane of Samaria. So if you found the dam before you found Swamp, you were just kind of hosed.
Yeah, they've already found the bow and the big key. I'd already be worried about the climbing Ganon's tower myself.
Yeah, no fire source, and you haven't found the tower itself, but...
Yeah, exactly, but that doesn't mean that, hey, my anxiety can't be contained sometimes.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm always a bit worried. Illus gonna follow Megawatt's footsteps now, though, and get his mitts and all that stuff. So, that's good for him. And the flute. Flute's probably more important. Skullwood's being...
Yeah, Mitts actually gives them access to a few more doors right now, too, because it gives them access to the 2 doors in the Dark World on the Death Mountain as well. Not that... I mean, in theory they can be Mitts locked, but you can often get there multiple...
Yeah. I always like these scenes where you just end up taking the Smith with you for like a solid half an hour before you eventually either lose him to finding a dungeon or turn him in.
You finally get a chance to save quit, exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's realistically, there's you lose like 1 second, maybe 2 seconds picking them up, and if you lose them, so be it.
There's GT. Yeah, it's really no time lost to just grab him in case you get an opportunity to turn him in. So you may as well, right? Thieves Town Big Key.
Yeah, that's intriguing.
It's nice, although also worrying.
Megawott is gonna go pick up that key.
Yeah, probably just grabbing it in case he... Or, well, rather for when he inevitably comes back to climb the tower.
Yeah, exactly. Or you find the fire rod in the cane, you still don't have a key, it lets you go the other side.
Yeah, because, I mean, they got the big key in the bow already. There's 6 items up there. They're gonna do it sooner or later.
Yeah, and this isn't turning out to be a jet seat by any means, so...
Yeah.
Not that it's necessarily a slow seat at this point, but they are missing a lot of keys still specifically, and very lot of items.
There's that Ice Palace big key. And the Cane of Samaria. That's pretty good.
That's gotta be like 10 out of 10, at least. That Ice Palace meme factor is very high, right?
Right. I don't know, Resi. I wouldn't want to walk back to JT just for Tile Room. That's pretty slow for one item. I'm going out doing some digging here. Probably want some hearts, I would imagine. Although there's this bush up here that usually has hearts or a fairy. Gets the current jump. Hopefully doesn't get murdered by the Xenox.
Not messing with them at all.
Yeah, I feel that, Resi, but it's like a solid 30 seconds to walk back over there, and then you go back in. It's another like 15 seconds to get to Tile Room, and then you do Tile Room, and then you gotta walk back out.
Yeah,
it's a solid 3 minutes for one chest.
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't go back for it. Obviously, if I had Kane, I would have checked Tower Room my first time in there. But I would have moved on and just hoped to find either the hammer, so I would have the option of checking the left side, even if it's sequence breaking it, or hopefully the fire.
Yeah.
And frankly, if I found the fire rod, I'd be probably thinking about going up to the top.
Yeah, I mean, if I found the fire rod, I'd probably just go down the right side and then go up the tower. To be honest.
I want a hookshot. Let's climb. Not that I actually want that, but...
I had one seed where I went up GT without the hook shot because I forgot I didn't have the hook shot. Realized like halfway up the tower, and I was like, oh well, whatever.
Already sunk this cost.
And then Mini Helmasaur Room had the pod big key, and the well was in the pyramid. It was completely empty, and then I had hookshot go mode a bit later. It was interesting.
These poor Smiths. I've already said it once, but
yeah, this poor frog is.
Some say he's still following Link to this.
The only time I can see myself doing a stupid Moldorm 2 bomb jump is if I'm hookshot for go mode just to get past Moldorm 2, because again it's in the pyramid or something stupid. But I haven't even practiced that trick at all, so.
Yeah, it seems very highly impractical.
Yeah, that
super swag, don't get me wrong.
At that point I'd rather just take the time to learn how to hover. Dark Shopping Mall, not really paying out. But at least there's nothing here to come back to later.
Yeah, it looks like Megawatt's just gonna get rid of most of these Dark World entrances right now, probably heading up to the pod area.
Yeah, or at least try to. This fake flipper is particularly lethal at times, depending on how the zeros
so
feel.
Bad.
Illus probably groaning inwardly at the sight of that big key.
Megawatt's not taking any chances. He's going up this way.
Yeah, he's going from the north, which, I mean, lets you walk over to the pyramid to check that item on your way, which isn't so bad, I guess. I personally hate walking over to the pyramid without a mirror. But...
yeah, I think this would be slower, but it, like you said, going up, swimming along the right side with those 2 zeros, you can get killed without doing anything wrong in that scenario very.
Yeah, if you get a bad RNG, those zeros can just slaughter you.
Well, and even if you don't die just to evade them, sometimes you end up clipping the lane.
Yeah, and then you're just soft-locked anyway. Unless activating his flute. Pyramid Ledge has nothing for us. Megawott playing it really safe here so he doesn't get murdered.
Totally understandable. Yeah.
And let's splitting to 4, probably gonna hand in the Smith. Looks that way. Yeah. Megawatt apparently forgetting that Ice Shard Cave has a chest in it.
That's one of those things where I do that sometimes too. I nope out so fast that then my brain catches up 2 seconds later like, no, you dummy, you gotta...
I do that with hints, but usually not with item caves.
Yeah. I'm trying to stand up for my boy. It's even funner when you've played a bunch of entrance seeds and then you play open, then you go into somewhere like the sick kid and you nope out right away. Well, everyone's favorite desert hermit.
It's a pretty weird desert. It's got a pod key.
Diversified. Was that a pod small key? I looked away at just the wrong second.
It was for pod, yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Pod small key is so nice always to have.
Illus making his way back up to the well to get the 5 items in there.
Very smart. This is one of the things I always forget to do, it seems, when I've... you know, it's one thing you find that well and it's 5 minutes later you find the glove, but they had a significant amount of time to pass. And I don't even know, did Megawott end up even scouting that?
He did, yes. Yeah, I had one seed where I found the well at Magic Bat, got the hammer like 20 minutes later, and then like an hour later I realized, oh yeah, I can go to the well, let's go do that, and then my boots are in there. I felt pretty good.
Smith on Laser Bridge, this is great.
Dark Palace big key in the well. I think that was the only thing there, but I mean, it's not bad.
Nice, and Megawatt finding the lamp on Laser Bridge.
It's a great spot for it.
It never feels great when you're on Laser Bridge 50 minutes in and you still can't tank a single.
Yeah. There are two types of entrance seeds. The ones where you have 10 hearts at the 20-minute mark, and the ones where you have 3 hearts at the 40-minute mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nobody really has a significant advantage at this point. They've done more, like they have the same stuff effectively and have done not the exact same things, but similar amounts of things.
Yeah, exactly. Just depends who finds the right things first, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Another pod key.
Skullwood's big key is in Tower of Hera. I had that exact hint the other day in Tower of Hera, right next to the chest that had the Skullwood's big key.
And that lamp also, I don't know if it logically brings the rest of Turtle Rock, but it makes it very easy to clear. Not that this is a difficult dark room, especially going this.
Oh, there's Dark Palace.
But this would bring in the Crystal Roller Room into logic. Oh, do they have the big key already? They do, right?
Lamp and Kane does put Crystal Roller in logic if you have Laser Bridge access. I think it also puts the Chomp Room in logic from its entrance.
From Laser Bridge, I think.
Yeah.
Megawott looks like he's going for the Smith Tour world record.
Yeah, this Smith is going on quite the adventure.
These are the stats I actually need.
See, what we need in the credits for entrance is, you know how you have like the time found for like the...
Oh yeah, man.
The mirror? We need one for the Moon Pearl.
I would, honestly, I want one for every item. Why stop at the Moon Pearl? Because so many different things can be the linchpin in the item, and so you're chatting afterwards. It's like, well, when did you get your hammer? But then I gotta look through my VOD like a plebe.
Yeah, right? Just have the game tell me I got my hammer at 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Why do I gotta figure that out for myself? Oh, Megawott gets bopped by a Pokey. Rip. Not really sure why he's not just nuking them with bombos, but...
Yeah. No, Master Sword is certainly a reasonable way to kill those, but they're so deadly that I would tend to even ether them first if I had that instead of bombos at this scenario.
Yeah, I definitely tend to play safe with Pokies with this low equipment.
Oh yeah, because their little body parts that go flying off seem to be fairly consistent until they aren't.
Yeah, they seem to be fairly consistent in their movement patterns until suddenly they just hit you.
The most valuable map to Swamp Palace in the history of ALttPR, I think.
Yeah. Megawott went through a lot for that map.
That Smith is going to be traumatized.
Probably.
Be funny, I got another thing. What if after you've been carting the Smith around for half an hour, he just gives you the item? Like, look, buddy.
That's enough. We're done here. Megawott proving that after his previous mishap against Korek, he did in fact remember to mark the archery games.
I won't lie, I mark this when I don't have money, but I've been messed before by not marking like a rock lift game. And so now I do it every time. It's just I didn't do it in a race where people were watching.
I mark the 50 rupee like pot farming cave, but I usually don't bother with the 20 rupee one.
I tend to mark the 20 rupee one until I find a better spot.
Yeah.
And I would include Blind Hut as a better spot. Even though it's probably slower rupees per minute.
I mean, see, you're right, Allison, but the trick here is that the hammer is in pod. Are those light arrows?
What did I ever do before? Stay hydrated, bot? I must have died from dehydration.
I don't think we've really found anything in pod so far, and this is kind of...
Yeah, the fact that I can't remember a single item generally means that it hasn't been value. I guess I remembered the heart piece and big chest because it just happened, but...
There was a shield.
Super
might be it. I don't remember seeing anything useful. So we'll just say there was nothing in pod. I guess silvers, but nah.
Useful, but you're not... If you knew they're there, you wouldn't go get them. The bad side of Super Bunny Cave. Or I guess the good side if you're trying to open the map.
Salt Pals and Misery Mire are 5-6 crystals. Yes, Resi, that is correct. And Misery Mire is up here as well.
Speaking of which... If I'm going into Misery Mire in 2 seconds, maybe I'll like those silver.
Assuming the Hera, Big Key, and the map right next to each other. That's convenient, I guess.
Yeah, because there's so much downtime when you're running around entrance and not sure where to go, I thought of another thing. Once you find the map and the compass for the dungeon, it somehow shows you where it is on the game map.
That would be pretty ridiculous. We've got another old man save and quit. They're doing it. It's happening.
I kind of like that spot.
Yeah, floating island would be slightly better, but...
Yeah, for sure. But it's nice, you cross off that horrible Turtle Rock spot. And it's always nice to have a one on Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, it's also right next to Misery Mire, which is pretty nice. And the bomb shop, for that matter, in case that becomes relevant, which it rarely does.
Just relevant at wasting 5 minutes of your time.
Or 20 when you last location it.
Well, I meant it just takes 5 minutes to check it sometimes.
I mean, yeah. Oh, Mire Big Key.
Yeah, they're just looking for those boosts for that hookshot.
I missed that on Megawott 10. That's pretty good, though.
Was he checking the left entrance? I feel we saw that. I wonder if he's going out it specifically.
Yeah, we saw this on Illus then, but I don't think Megawott saw it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense now too, seeing where it is.
Illus now gonna show us the back of the old man cave. I think we've seen like 47 dark caves, so you've probably already seen where this goes. But maybe not. guess not. Alright, that's actually not bad either.
Yeah, exactly. Fun location here.
The lamp was on Laser Bridge, which was over in the pod area. Oh, we got Swamp Big Key. That's not too exciting, but nice to have before doing Swamp.
I think it feels worse than it actually is because you get so hyped up for like a fraction of a second when you see it's a big key, and then you just get crashed back to reality when it's a Swamp House.
Yeah, same for Skullwoods.
And we've all had those scenes where it's like, okay, I need one big key for go mode. And there's the Skullwoods.
Speaking of the Skullwoods big key, there it is. I mean, it could be worse, right? Like, the worst feeling is when you're looking for one big key, and you've already been in Swamp and Ice Palace, and then you get one of those big keys instead.
Yeah, I had a scene where I found 3 of the wrong big keys in a row in 2 rooms in GT, and I was almost ready to lose it.
I had one scene where I was missing 4 big keys, and I needed one of them for go mode, and I did right side GT, and I got 3 big keys, and none of them were the one I wanted.
Yeah, it seems to be how it goes. Let's start. We'll just wait till we get to our complaining about small key go mode later too. How fun that.
Don't talk to me about Castle Tower and Swamp small keys. Those are the worst. You find like boots in here.
That's not the worst.
That's pretty good for Illus. Gotta say.
I would be going straight to Misery Mine.
I would probably hold off until I had a fire source in Illus's case.
Yeah, I guess that's right. I was taking into account the lamp, so.
Yeah, but like it's next to a saving point, so it's really easy to get to whenever. So.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I would not go into it without the lamp. Nice dash. But no, it would be on my. Where was Laser Bridge again?
It was over in the pod area. It was either the fluke cave or pod itself. I'm not actually sure.
Yeah, and even though I know they've checked both the torches, and I have absolutely no clue what was on them, so I'm assuming both of them are.
Illus does have the TR big key, so if you had a small key, you could just go to Laser Bridge. And apparently Desert Palace is a crystal, as was Hera. So with these boots, we're got a few more entrances open to us. Although we've already gotten spat out of 2 boots entrances, so. Looks like Megawott is gonna follow through as well, and he's gonna find Hera here in a second and get his boots as well. Illus gonna be showing us the shovel spot, it looks like.
Yep.
Nothing exciting there. Let's see where he goes next.
One of my favorite minor time losses when I menu too quickly to swap between the shovel and the...
Yeah, that one's good.
And it happens every single time.
Yep.
That's right up there with mirroring out of a dungeon you immediately intend on saving quitting out.
Yep, I do that all the time. Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't seen the mire area yet. Like, it's 3 pretty quick entrances. Like, I understand wanting to wait until you have the mirror, which turns it from 3 entrances to 7, but...
Yeah. It's a little... yeah, exactly. They're very quick. And at some point when I'm, because I feel like that tends to be one of the things that costs me is waiting for something that I want to go into that spot. And that thing just inevitably ends up being in that spot.
Yeah. Exactly. Like you sit around waiting for like 10 years to go to the pod area so you can get the mirror first and route it with. So you can route the pod and eastern areas together, and then the mirror is just there.
Yeah, and even early game it comes up a lot. Okay, I'm not going to go to the South Shore yet because I want the glove so I can check the left side and right side bonk, or not, glove rock locations, and then, yeah, how often does that turn out?
Exactly.
Occasionally.
Illus is going into Misery Mire though, despite not having a fire source. Which, I mean, it's a dungeon, it's a crystal dungeon, you can get the crystal, you can get 6 of 8 items, it's not the worst, but it feels kind of bad to leave these just behind.
Yeah,
although they're
for
often
sure.
hinted at anyway, so I can understand its reasoning. And it really isn't even that bad to come back here, because you can just save and quit to the old man and you're right there, so...
Yeah, and he has obviously no idea where the fire sources are, so...
Yeah, I mean, from his perspective...
And he only has 1 key, is that correct, too?
Yeah, he only has 1, so it's still pretty far from logic.
Yeah, if I had 3 keys, I probably just would not be coming in here until I found a fire source. And then, funny enough, maybe the fire rod's here.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Looks like all the big chests are going to be giving out heart pieces today. Really, these are 6 fairly quick checks in Mire too.
Yeah, Mire is, like, honestly, aside from the cutscene chest, Mire's a pretty quick dungeon. We're finally going to be seeing this connector in the witch's hut that we saw at, like, the 30-second mark that nobody's fallen till now.
Always feels...
Well, it goes here. I guess we're going into Mire on Megawatt's end as well. Although, he does have the ability to full clear the dungeon. He does not have a spot though, so it's gonna be a bit slower.
Yeah, exactly. They have different trade-offs here. I suspect Illus will have no problems with without the lamp, but it's frankly it just is slower without it. So.
Yeah.
Very clean.
Getting the Mario block onto that switch is actually the hardest trick in the game. Changed my mind.
I actually feel that... Okay, let me just parse this out a little bit. I have no problem throwing the block. I can't pick the block up off the switch to start the room. That's my biggest challenge.
That's true. Picking up the pod at the start is the hardest part in the dark. It's literally impossible.
Well, it seems like it's one of those things, like a lot of tricks in this game. It either goes perfectly or you end up spending 10 seconds fumbling around in the dark.
10? Please, try 30.
You know it's just 10, but it feels like 30, but when you actually go back so you can complain on Discord about how much time you lost, it's never as impressive as you.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I lost like a minute in this dark room, and then...
It turns out it's 17 seconds, yeah. But it feels like a minute.
Exactly.
And yeah, those silver arrows making very short work of Vitreous, like and
yeah,
another heartbeat.
Megawatt's gonna have a bit more trouble with Vitreous, only having wooden arrows and a master sword. No cape either. It's gonna be kind of a rough fight. He does get these 2 extra checks, and there was nothing at all in the rest of Mire, so if this is something, then that's good for him. GT small key isn't exactly what you're hoping for, but
yeah, almost. It might be sort of needed, but it's likely to be a dude. He does have very limited health as well. Although Megawatt probably, I mean, he won't have to tank the health in the dark rooms the way you do in some instances. I mean, these Wizrobes are no joke on the health damage dealing department either.
Yeah, these suckers do 4 full hearts. It's more than you'd expect.
well, especially since you generally come in here late game, you're armored up. You know, you got 17 hearts, so you're not really paying attention.
Well, I thought Illus was gonna go to the mire area, but I guess not. Going all the way over here for this one chest. It's odd. Illa's not really missing much in mire. Unless that GT key ends up being relevant. Okay, now are we going to the mire area? Oh, we are. Wow, it's happening.
I think he has to be, yeah.
I did not see the hint in mire. Was that anything useful?
It was a lie about the location of Thieves Town, I believe. I believe it was one of the hints that are not correct. I may be wrong on that. But it was a spoiler about the location of Thieves Town being on Death Town. Has it been fixed? Nice. Yeah, and that really matters when it tells you a door is nothing, and you leave it for 2 hours, and you find out it's Hype King.
Yeah, Thieves is in one of those two entrances, though.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. It's only a mistake. It's only an issue if you haven't checked them first, and you trust the hint. But yeah, there's just 2 hints on East Death Mountain that are reverse, basically.
Yeah, Thieves Town is in one of those entrances. My region, not really anything, though. Just some hints. So, I'm actually not quite sure what we have left. King Zora.
Ice Palace Big Chest.
Ice Palace Big Chest, King Zora, Purple Chest.
I think the Dark World's Bonk Rock spot, has anyone checked that?
Tile Room. Oh, GT Climb, we have the lamp. That's a thing.
Yeah, and with that, they each have, what do they have, 1 key?
Oh yeah, and Catfish. I don't think we saw Catfish.
I'm pretty sure that Megawatt checked Catfish.
Maybe he did. Alright, I must have missed Catfish though.
It was on his Smith marathon.
Yeah. Actually, come to think of it, yeah, the pod area isn't in logic right now.
Unless there's a connector we're not considering that goes there.
The only connector there is Laser Bridge, I think, and we don't have enough small keys for that. In fact, we have no small keys. So, the lamp isn't in logic. Oh wait, yeah, we would need the lamp from Laser Bridge anyway to be able to use that as a connector logically. So yeah, the lamp's out of logic. We don't logically have a fire source. So GT's out of the question. I guess Skullwood's Big Chest. We haven't seen that.
Megawatt taking very nice advantage
Actually,
of the
I don't
last
think we've
tile
seen much in Skullwoods at all. Because it's Dumb Woods. And Megawatt just noped out. Yeah, that's a good point, Missy. Forgot about that. Tile room. It might just be tile room, honestly.
Tile room would be great. Vessi for the win! Megawatt got it a little close to the vest on that last couple of things, and of course, not getting a value, but not dying is in certain value in and of itself.
Megawatt spending a lot more time in Misery Mire due to not having a small key, not having silver, so he got 2 extra items out of it. It really wasn't anything.
Yeah, it's one of these instances where what he, the extra checks actually could be a hurt if Illus never ends up going back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're down to Ice Big Chest, Tile Room.
Hammer and ice, big chest. Come on, we've been sniffing around ice for so long.
Oh yeah, and purple chest as well.
Oh, that's my favorite chest in the game.
Is there any? Oh yeah, King Sora. King Sora is still a thing as well. I think those 4 spots might be it in logic. I'm actually not sure. Yeah, Megawott didn't check the pod entrance. We haven't seen that, but again, not in logic. Could be a connector we haven't seen, but I don't think we have any connectors left. Okay.
Yeah, the one thing I haven't been paying attention to is the number of dark connectors they've found and not explored. But again, the lamp still isn't in logic anyways, so.
We've seen all the dark connectors, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, those 4 garbage spots actually might be it. Yeah, I think so too, Resi. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they have. Oh, right. Yeah, Eastern Palace. That's right.
Yep. They both found that without the Moon Pearl.
They probably both really don't want to go in there.
No. That seems very plausible at this point, too, though. That lamp, again, not in logic, makes the right side very easy to check.
Illus gonna go ahead and do Thieves Town. Just orphan the big chest. I guess that makes sense.
I don't mind this play whatsoever. I am, especially without either the hammer or the small key. Or does he have the small key? I don't think so, right? No.
He doesn't. It's not a play I like doing, but when the options get dry, like when all my options are shit, this is probably the first one I'm going for.
Yeah, at least this is 3 spots, right? Even though, again, only one of them's in logic.
Yeah, and it's also a dungeon that you probably have to clear anyway.
Exactly. The other thing I might be tempted would do a minor fake flipper route up to Zora. With the flute, you can do it pretty quickly.
Megawott went on his way to grab that big 20, so that might be what he's doing. No, not yet.
Yeah, Zora can be so cruel in entrance.
Yeah, Zora blocking the flippers in entrance is like the worst. I mean, if all your logical spots are shit, then doing stuff you can do out of logic to try to like be able to route in the logical spots more efficiently later.
Yeah, especially if you like there's a number of scenarios where you find the item that you are skipping isn't necessary except to get the next. So if what they're skipping is the flippers and they fake flipper and find the hammer, then who really gives a rat's ass but the flippers at that point?
If your only thing left in logic is doing swamp pals without the hookshot, and you go sequence breaking the hookshot first, and stuff like that.
Yeah, most entrance players will be very prone to sequence break.
Yeah, as long as you keep the logic in mind, you don't really have to go following it. Just try not to look for items in places where they can't be.
Yeah, exactly. That tends to be on your end game, as long as you know where your things can be and can't be, but by and large, just sort of clearing everything in an area, even if something's in and out of logic, is probably preferable rather than, I mean, not that, like, they're at the point now where maybe just sniffing out the logic to find the hammer or whatever they're looking for is ideal, but...
Yeah. Like, we're still missing a hammer and a mirror, which are very, very key items.
Yeah, exactly. And even things like the hookshot and fire rod are very helpful.
Yeah.
And logically open up a lot of things, if not make them easier. I mean, a relative lot, not necessarily compared to, anything like the mirror. But...
Yeah, I'm usually not a big fan of fake flippering in cross keys, but I could definitely see myself checking out the Zora area right now.
I've only done it a few times, and every time it seems like I'll run into something like Pod in the waterfall, and then I'll end up going in there and then forgetting I can't leave after I death.
Yeah.
And just further pushing off the one check of Zora that was in logic, that was the whole point of my route going up that way anyways, generally.
Exactly. Well, it looks like Thieves' Town was an empty pendant dungeon. Do we have any gem subs in chat?
We don't know that quite yet, but hopefully this is empty.
Well, for Illus' sake, I hope it is. This might be the Eastern Palace play by Illus. This connector does take him there.
Yeah, the right side, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to Eastern Palace.
And Megawott deciding to do the hookshot cave single chest check too. Now that Cane of Burna is in logic, which brings the lamp in logic, correct?
Well, no, because logically we can't get.
Oh, TR's over in a blocked spot still, right? Yeah.
Yeah, TR's over in the pod area, which we don't have access to. Logically. And you obviously can't get to Laser Bridge from inside the dungeon without the lamp, logically. So.
Yeah, exactly. Have to have access to the entrance.
But Eastern Palace is looking like it's likely to be the answer at this point, I would say. Megawatt's going for Talgum now. He could also sequence back the right side. Swamp Small Key in Eastern Palace.
Yeah, I suspect Megawatt is going to go for a full right side all the way to Ice Armos. If I can't imagine coming here just for one check.
Yeah. I'm not sure how comfortable he is with the sequence break.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but he's pretty. His execution's pretty excellent. So, I mean, as long as he's figured out and practiced it, I'm sure he can do it. I mean, if my scrub ass can do it. Mind you, we might be sitting here for 10 minutes if this is me.
Desert Palace Big Key in Eastern, which is
very annoying,
I guess.
I mean, it's fortunate because Desert is a crystal and they will need that at some point, but they haven't found the back yet, if I'm not mistaken, and they've already been through it multiple times.
We haven't seen the back, although it's not so bad to go back through with the boots.
Yeah, exactly, and especially if I can't remember where the connectors go, but sometimes it can be a somewhat useful connector, and you can just sort of kill two birds with one stone going.
Yeah. Desert seems to go kind of all over the place. There's an entrance in King's Tomb. There's one on Death Mountain which is easy to get to. It's not too hard to get to. And...
Well, that's a rip for Megawatt. I wonder if that changes his mind.
No, he's going for it. So we got the Swamp Small Key and the Desert Big Key in Eastern Palace. Both required items, but they don't really do much right now. The Desert Big Key gives us one check in the big chest. That's about it. I would expect Illus to probably go for that pretty soon. Looks like he's going straight there. Yeah, he's going for it right away.
Yeah, it makes sense. They both can't be feeling very good, so anything they find, they'll be very, very interested in following up immediately.
Yeah, I mean, when you're this late into a seed, you still don't have a hammer, you still don't have a mirror.
Well, I mean, if I'm this late into a seed, I don't have the mirror. I'm just like saying so.
No, Ressi. Right? The lamp's not in logic, so upstairs GT's off the table for now. Until we find Flipper's hammer or fire rod.
See if Megawatt's able to And he forgot to light the torch at the top of the room, unfortunately, so this is not going to work. And he has no health.
I guess there's this chest. I don't think we've seen this.
I don't think you have. I thought one of them was going to come out the front, and then they killed off that route.
Yeah, I forgot about this chest. This is something I haven't seen. There we go.
Now it's all coming together. So Swap Palace? Where's this hammer at?
Well, that does put the lamp into logic now. So... Well, what's more garbage?
Megawatt is successful with the sequence break to the right side, finding Quake.
Quake and I believe a small key to Turtle Rock. Yeah, Flippers, I mean, it made the Zora check a bit less garbage, but it also added a whole lot more garbage to the list.
It reconciled the logic a little bit, but yeah, it didn't necessarily make their checks much better.
Illus gonna catch up on this now, having opted not to do the current jump earlier.
Yeah, unfortunately, without that lamp yet, Illus is going to have to come back here as well.
Yeah, although Megawatt left us behind also, so it's not so bad. And the pod entrance is in logic now. We did not see that from Megawatt's end. So that could be something. What are we missing in terms of major entrances? Desert Back. I don't know. I know we saw Blind Hut and Hyde Cave. I don't think we saw Mini Moldrum Cave yet.
Yeah, I believe you're right. And I know they found one of the two fairy fountains. I'm not sure if they found both of them or not.
I'm not sure. There's also Mire Shed. There's another 2-item cave. I'm not sure if we saw.
Let's see if the sequence break for Megawatt is going to pay off at all.
Not noticeably.
Those are things.
Okay, so our last pendant is Turtle Rock. On Illus' end, so he's got full knowledge now. Yeah, Fire Rattler Seeds are more common in engines, definitely. I feel. Megawatt is actually gonna climb Ganon's tower without the hookshot. I'm not sure if he realizes this is out of logic.
Yeah.
Because I certainly wouldn't go for a hookless GT climb with an out of logic fire source. Megawatt, I wouldn't say he can hover. He sort of can, but he's very inconsistent at it.
I doubt he's relying on it.
Oh, well, that...
He just got crushed by those annoying red mimics. That room goes sideways, it can be very bad. Yeah, he's thinking better of this.
Yeah, he's changed his mind.
Yeah, sometimes I'll make a hookless climb, and it's really rare. But those scenarios basically have to be, I know that the Ganon drop is nothing. And I'm just praying that the Moldorm chest doesn't have any.
With
it leaving 3 items blocked.
I've done it 3 times. Once because it was my literal last spot to get the Moon Pearl. Once because I had a hint that the hammer was up there. And once because I forgot I didn't have the hookshot.
I think I've had 2 seeds where you were forced to go up there to get, an item that led to the hookshot. Was it actually the hookshot up there?
Yeah.
And in one of the times, you had to go back a second time to get another item, which was just incredible.
And of course, I've had numerous occasions where the hookshot itself was up there. Those are always fun.
But those tend to be last locations. You almost know they're up there a lot of the time. It's like, if it's not up here, I'm forfeiting anyway, so who cares?
Right. If Mirror's in purple chest, this is officially the worst seed.
Yeah, that honestly, if you don't last locate the mirror in purple chest, you can just take my points.
I think mirror in purple chest in entrance even worse than mirror in purple chest in like open mode.
Oh yeah, for sure. I guess it depends, right? Because entrance can sometimes make you do longer routing than I would do, and so sometimes I'll think a bit bigger and route in, picking up both the smith and the purple chest earlier than I would in a normal. But yeah, it can be horrible.
Oh, Megawatt's going into Ice Palace. This is gonna be pretty bad for him, unless the hammer's in the big chest.
And he changed his mind again.
Guess not. Megawatt seems very indecisive right now.
Yeah, he's not too pleased. I think he's not sure what he's got in logic, maybe.
Yeah, he's going for the fake flipper now. Which, I mean, we know these checks are in logic. So, makes... From our perspective, this is new information that is actually relevant. But as far as he knows, it's a secret, right?
And Illus, a man after my own heart, messing up one of the dashes and going straight to the Gain Inferno.
Yeah, I do that myself sometimes.
With half magic, you can just straight up walk it, so...
Yeah, if I have boots, I tend to just do lace skips, but if I mess up a lace skip and I don't have boots, I just pull up burn if I have it.
See, for me, it's like I can sense if I mess up the first one, I feel I might mess up more than one, so that's the case. If I mess up the first one, I'm just going on right to the other thing. If I do it clean, I probably will do it clean the rest. And this is the pod check, right? We think Megawatt skipped this. This could be big. Possibly the worst location in the game to come back to.
Without, like, flute, it is pretty god-awful. Like, if you have flute, hammer, glove, it's not so bad.
Yeah. But with those items, most entrances in the game aren't so bad.
Yeah. There's backup desert in the waterfall.
That big key was in Eastern Palace as well? Was that where it was?
Yes. Yeah, right. See, that happened to me the other day. I found backup desert there, got sniped by the BMOs, lost my water walk. It was fun. Illus maybe going back into Misery Mire for the 2 checks. Yeah, he is. Speaking of Misery Mire, King Sora. I'm surprised Illus is doing this over going for the flipper checks. That's a pretty hefty chunk of locations with the flute that doesn't really take much.
I wonder if he just was in a save quit scenario, decided to save quit, start here, just kill this off because he can start right next to it and then flute to where he actually plans on.
Ice Big, Purple Chest, Upstairs GT. We have the Pond of Happiness entrance as well, we didn't see that. And Land Molus. Molus is fully in logic on Elsa's side. Oh yeah, Megawott has the Hera Smoky. I forget where he got that. I guess
that
that's
was,
another thing.
I think that was behind Ice Armos in GT with the mushroom.
Oh yeah, you're right. So that's not in logic either. Right, now Megawatt's going to Ice Palace. Yeah,
I'm interested in seeing Megawatt's Dark World map to see if he has Eastern Palace labeled on it. Of course, he just switched to it for a fraction of a second, and I wasn't paying close enough attention.
I think he did.
I'm hoping so, because that is... not even that inconvenient to check with the flute where Hyrule Castle is.
Yeah, I mean, Ice Palace is right next to Hyrule Castle, so you can just walk over there once he's done in here.
He might also be feeling bad and know about it and think, Illus has been there, I gotta make a point. Which generally isn't a great feeling in entrances, I've come to find out. Because literally all your opponents are feeling bad most of the time as well.
Yep. So, Illus gonna do the flipper checks now. So we will see one more entrance here on the island, and we will see the Lenmola kill. That's 2 new checks.
Yeah, I'm very suspicious of the land molus being fully in logic right now. A lot of times you don't find that small.
Yeah, and the right side didn't even lead to anything. So
yeah, exactly.
I feel like land molus might be our mirror or hammer or something.
I still got my hopes for this Ice Palace big chest for the hammer just because it's so horrendous.
That would be pretty ridiculous.
And hopefully Illus breaks out my favorite strats on Landmo. Like, because of my name, like, I want to use the Ice Rod over the Fire Rod against Landmo. It's just not as good, unlike, say, Argus, where it's, I mean, objectively easier to kill him with Ice Rod in 1 cycle than Fire.
Yeah, for sure. I guess we also have, I think, 1 chest in pod that we haven't seen, but that should also be out of logic right now. I think we're missing 1 key for that.
Oh, Illus has Silver Arrow, so he's good to do that, obviously. Oh, wow.
That's a mirror in the Ice Palace big chest.
That's worse than the hammer. I'm sorry.
That's disgusting.
That is going to be very bad for Illus, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He's got to run into the hammer before he goes back there, or he's in big trouble. He'll probably last locate it.
I can't imagine he has much left, though.
True. But he's going to have GT climb.
Yeah, I guess the question is if he goes back for the Ice Palace big chest before he does hookshotless GT climb.
I'd probably be doing everything before hookshotless GT climb, so...
I mean, going back into an Ice Palace you've already dipped.
Yeah, triple dip, yeah, exactly.
Just the big chest is maybe worse.
Yeah, and you could be telling yourself that, well, I could climb GT, and I might not have to climb it again, but you know you're going back into Ice Palace if you go in there now, and it's not the hammer.
Yeah. I mean, he's got so little left, he might just assume it is the hammer at that point.
The other thing is, there's a reason we've been mumbling and ranting about Ice Palace for like the past hour and 25 minutes, because the seed really screamed Ice Palace at the beginning, and then they found nothing in it. So Megawott might have been thinking that as well, too.
Yeah.
And none of the choices are very good, so it's like, where did the seed scream the loudest for me to go? And it was Ice Palace. Like, I'm talking right at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, they had the sword, the bomb bows, small key, big key, super...
Yeah, they even found the big key pretty quickly after leaving it, too, right? So...
Yeah. Exactly.
Man, that's so rude. That mirror is so rude.
That is absolutely disgusting. Maya region not really paying off at the moment. And let's just heading back into pod for a few quick checks here. Might just eat this 1 chest, I'm not sure. I think he did everything else.
Yeah, I can't remember if he checked the Hellway or not. But I'm assuming he did, just looking at his
all
keys.
the mirror entrances in Desert Palace are nothing. So, naturally, the place the game wants us to go with the mirror is one of the dumb spots.
So, left race game, is that dumb enough? Or how about, what, Mimic Cave?
I don't know, we've got race game left, we got Graveyard Ledge, Mimic
Ooh,
Cave,
Graveyard
Spiral
Ledge.
Cave, Tower of Hera, Floating Island, connector to that somewhere, which is a...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they found the floating island to the Foothills Cave as well. Or, I mean, sorry, the connector, that was Spiral Cave.
Yeah, we got a hint that the quote-unquote Foothills Cave is Mimic Cave, so they won't go there without the hammer at least.
Brilliant.
We're gonna be seeing Swamp Palace, I guess, the first 2 checks here.
Yeah, and Megawott just turned in the mushroom.
Illus not too pleased about that hint.
What did it say?
It was a hint for the left side Meyer checks.
Oh, those things you just went out of your way to do 5 minutes ago.
Nope. Classic.
Hera, it always feels good when you're coming up the mirror way to check Hera and you don't have the...
More nothing. And this is the connector up to Floating Island, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, I guess what could be good for Illus is if there's some... Actually, what are we looking for? We're looking for the hookshot, the Eastern Big Key, and that's it.
Yeah, the hammer.
And the hammer. So I guess the good news for Illus would be if one of those items is at the top of GT and he climbs that before going to Ice Palace for the mirror. Like, if hookshot's up there and he gets that before getting the mirror, then suddenly he might be in a good position. Turtle Rock's won't keep him the witch's hunt. I totally missed what was on the floating island, but it doesn't seem to have been anything useful. And Illus is going for it. This is probably the make it or break it for him. If there is something up here that's not behind the hookshot, puts him in a really good position. If not, he's in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's it's unfortunate that the way just sort of that location of that big key made it very challenging, in my opinion, to go in there with it the first.
Yeah.
Even though it was available.
Megawott neglecting to check the first test in Turtle Rock again, so he's still not getting his flippers.
Oh, and there is the other fairy cave, useless as ever.
are running low on mirror spots, and none of them have really led to anything yet.
That's interesting. You figure the mirror has to be blocking something, right?
You'd think so. Looks like we're gonna be seeing Mimic Cave here. Megawott may also go into Eastern Palace itself.
Yeah, it's such a tough call when you're missing both, or when you're missing the big key still. So in the back of your mind, you're always thinking, is it here?
You don't have the fire rod, buddy.
Yeah, that's, I know that feeling.
Same. Oh, this is probably it, isn't it?
Feels like it. Although it seems like every time I say that when I'm playing, I just get like 4 compasses and 20 bucks.
Yeah, exactly. And there's the hook shot. Just the hook shot, though. That's concerning for Illus, gotta say.
Sorry, I've been busy here. That he did pick up the hook shot there. Is that what I just saw?
Nice hint, game.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hook shot was in the roller cave. And nothing at the top of GT.
Yeah, Illus has got to be running quickly out of spots here.
Yeah. I believe he's down to just purple chest and the ice big chest.
Megawott is deciding to dive Eastern, probably as a hedge against the big key being in here and that screwing him.
Yeah, which it's not, but he is going to end up getting 2 required items in here.
Exactly, and even if it isn't, it's not one of the worst double dips ever.
Yeah, for sure. It's not that bad. Looks like Illus is going for the purple chest now, probably.
It makes total sense.
So I guess now the biggest concern for Illus is if the hookshot lock checks up there or something, because then he is beyond screwed.
Yeah, that's probably something that if I was Illus, I'd be figuring. If there's something up there, I'll find out what it is in the post game interview.
Exactly.
Megawott, quit stealing my strats from that room.
And there's that Thieves Town small key.
It's gonna have something, isn't it?
Probably. Well, Illus is going for it, so I guess this is...
Gotta be his last location.
Yeah, that's gotta feel really bad.
It's just rude. Yeah, it's like, it's interesting, because sometimes I feel really bad about last locating something because of the choices I've made, and sometimes, like, I don't know that I even feel that bad. I just feel bad about getting screwed by the game, but I wouldn't necessarily doubt my own choices, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. Megawott did some of pod, I think.
I'm searching in my memory files and I can't find any evidence of Megawott being in pod, so that's how useful a witness I am.
Yeah, I think you might be right, actually. I don't think Megawott has been in pod at all. In fact, I'm looking at his tracker and he doesn't even have pod marked. That could be problematic.
Not like this.
Pod is down at Ice Rod Cave area. Yeah, I'm looking at Megawatt's map and he doesn't seem to have it marked on his tracker. That could be a problem. Yeah, he was down there earlier for sure. But he might have just like forgotten to go in that one door, or like have one of those classic go in, go back out, don't register what's in there moments.
Well, and if it's the first, it might have been. It's probably the first door he went in, so he's in and out immediately. He's like, I'll check the other 2 doors, and then you just.
Yeah, and then the other 2 were both connectors, and I guess he just forgot maybe. I'm not sure. That would be bad. Oh, he didn't even go in. Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, that's a situation that you will never come out of, probably.
Yes,
honestly,
Illus might not be in such a bad spot after all. Oh, jeez.
Man, I got stuff to do tonight. I mean, not really soon. That's why I volunteered to do this, but no, that's rough.
I mean,
and I say that as a guy who has done this a number of times.
I mean, if it comes down to Megawatt being in go mode minus pod entrance and him just bumbling around for like half an hour trying to find it, then I'm sure he'll probably forfeit if Illus finishes before he finds it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. No, I can think back to my race in the league entrance. I'm in go mode. Except Swamp Palace is somewhere in the map, and I know I've seen it, and I know it's not marked on my track.
That's the worst feeling. That is the single worst feeling.
And honestly, because I play so many seeds, I'm never 100% certain I've seen it, because I'm like, ah, shit, did I see that in the last seed I just played?
Yeah, right. I definitely get that feeling sometimes when I'm like, okay, I want to go do Swamp Palace now. Did I find Swamp Palace? Was that this seed? Was it the other seed? I don't even know. And I look back at my map and I'm like, okay, is Swamp Palace somewhere? And then, like, Swamp Palace, like, the label is like this greenish color that blends in. And sometimes
yeah, I was just Swamp Palace is the worst for a number. It blends into the light world so well, and it's an entrance that you often, especially if you've pulled the dam and you don't have the flippers, like would have been the scenario in this case potentially, you step in and step out so quickly that you don't even break your train of thought of the overworld, basically.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Megawott clears out Babestown, which was empty and abandoned, so that's more time back for Illus.
Yeah.
Minimoldrum Cave was in Mimic Cave, the connector being in CAC somewhere. So Illus will probably get around to it soon.
I think the connector was Hyrule Castle, is that what it was?
Yes. I imagine he'll check this, probably the Mire region, and then go up there. That would seem the most logical choice. So we're gonna see Minimoldrum Cave here, or Hookshot Cave here though. Blue Mail. Hard. Small key to Ganon's Tower. Nothing too exciting.
I, for one, am still living the 20 heart. It's funny the consolation prizes you'll make up for in your brain when you're having a bad entrance run.
I guess the problem here is we are rapidly running low on spots again, and the hammer might just be hookshot locked at the top of Ganon's Tower.
Yeah.
We're going to be seeing Gregor Ledge now. I think this is the last mirror spot we haven't seen. Fire rod upstairs. Oh, hammer on Mafula. Do we have the small keys? No, we don't have the small keys.
Yeah, the Hera basement's still alive and well, I think, too.
Yeah,
and by alive and well, I mean totally out of logic behind the fire rod or the hammer.
Eastern Big Key could be on the pedestal. Hammer actually could be on the pedestal, I think. In theory. Megawatt's going for it. He's climbing Gannon's tower.
Makes sense.
Yeah, same, Resi. I've seen... okay, well I haven't seen that.
I've never had hammer on ped. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I played that shovel to book to hammer seed, though.
Yeah, I've had mitts on there a few times.
Yeah, I remember that seed because I was so happy. I was like, oh, I'm going to get hammer on the pedestal. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to get hammer in the pyramid fairy. And it was neither, I don't think. Or might have been a difference.
I played a really stupid practice seed with Illus a month or so ago, I think. Maybe a couple months. Where it was... the back desert was in the GT entrance, the mitts were on the pedestal, and Ganon was in the lumberjack tree, so you needed a second castle tower key to get the Ganon. And so I pulled the pedestal from my mitts, did all the mitts checks, and then the castle tower key was just at the top of GT all along. And I wasted like 15 minutes. That was fun. Illus is gonna get his hookshot now. Honestly, like, I don't think Illus is really that far behind.
He doesn't have a whole lot of spots that the hookshot opens other than G.
Yeah, like, he'll probably just go to hookshot cave and then go back up GT again.
Yeah.
And Megawatt is still missing a few crucial items. Like, he doesn't have those flippers, and those are in a pretty isolated spot for him.
Especially if they're blocking the fire rod, it makes it totally annoying to go back in and check that once.
Illus is also up to land Molda's kill, which is like maybe 2 minutes time. Not insignificant.
No, for sure.
Probably a bit less, like 90 seconds maybe. It's quick to get there with the float. Yeah, Illus is going for Hookshot Cave, no surprise there.
Yeah, I think I'm the only
there's
person
the whole
Hookshot Cave forever.
There's the whole pod thing.
Yeah, I've been trying to ignore that, hoping it doesn't come up, but it's going to.
Yeah.
And it's not even a scenario that checking your VOD can help with. I mean, I guess it can if you rewatch the whole thing and notice you didn't go in that door. When you're checking your VOD, you're generally looking for a glimpse of the dungeon.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why Swamp Palace is always the one you miss, because it's just, you go in, oh, can't do anything here, go right back out.
Exactly.
So, I think Illus has a few mirror engines left.
Megawatt did exactly the same thing in the Taurus room.
Everyone does that. I do it every time too.
Like literally every single time I come up here without the fire rod, whether it's entrance or any other mode.
You almost never come up here without the fire rod. It happens so infrequently. Yeah, Illus is going to Graveyard Ledge now, which we know is nothing. That's, I believe, his last mirror spot. And after that, I would assume he's just gonna go up Ganon's Tower again.
Yeah, unless he's got a spot in the back of his mind that we haven't considered. Because as much as I was talking about maybe not listening to logic now, you get late game. You can't start checking places like Hera Basement that aren't in logic yet.
Yeah. I guess I could see him go over and kill Mothula, since that's right here.
True, and even though it's not technically in logic, it almost costs you no time to do it without the fire rod.
Yeah.
Assuming you don't screw up the kill really badly.
Going back to GT though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, first hookshot lock check out of 3. What have we got? Nothing. So Uncle...
Well, this is nothing.
Uncle drop down is gonna be something. Yeah,
I think it almost has to be.
Last spot in logic, I'm pretty sure. I don't think we have anything else left in logic.
Always feels bad fighting Agatu in an entrance seed. Even if it's just so that you can get to Ganon.
Agreed. Although I feel much less bad about it if Ganon's in the pyramid.
True, true, true.
Alright, so moment of truth coming up here. What's gonna be in there?
I mean, it's gotta be the hammer of the fire rod, right?
I mean, what does the fire rod even do?
It logically opens the back of Skull Woods.
Yeah, that's it, because we don't have the keys for Trinex or Mafia.
TR, yeah. It actually opens the front 2
both,
right side chests in TR.
Yeah, there's the hammer.
It's the hammer, of course, yeah. I support this senior violence. Just this, not senior violence in general.
It's getting bullied pretty hard in the gauntlet here.
Yeah, I feel like there's a direct correlation between your gauntlet execution and how good you feel about climbing it. So you're in an open seat, it's 1:15, you're ripping up the gauntlet, you're feeling great. It's an entrance seat 2 hours in and you don't have the hammer. It doesn't feel...
Especially when it's your second time going up the gauntlet.
Round 2, Electric Boogaloo, exactly. And Megawatt going for the chest after my dreams here.
I can't imagine Illus would check this. He's going to feel absolutely dreadful after he sees that hammer, so I don't see him checking this.
Oh, I wouldn't be checking this either.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't. Oh yeah, Illus doesn't have the key. That's right. Where was that?
Back in GT.
Oh, right, yeah. Well,
now, if you do the fire rod mistake twice in the same seat, I think that one's on you at that point.
So what's...
Thankfully, Phyllis.
So... Megawatt's missing one of the 4 GT keys to put the hammer in logic. I mean, I think the first thing you do... The first thing you do, or at least that Illus does, Megawott can't because he doesn't know where it is, but the first thing you do is you kill Helmasaur King. You just have to go over there and do it. It's 0 time loss, may as well just get it over with. Yes, the uncle is there, and he has the hammer, which Megawott just got a few minutes ago.
Yeah, that's exactly how I evaluate my dungeons when I'm, say you find this hammer, not in go mode, but you're almost in go mode. What do I have to do, and what dungeons have, optional checks that if I find my go mode before that I can...
Yeah, the most obvious play is Helmasaur King, because, Illus is already clear at the rest of the dungeon, whether he goes and kills Helmasaur King now, or whether or not he does it in 15 minutes, it's the same time investment. You may as well...
no item will save him even a second at this point, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a Tempered Sword would make the Turtle Room very slightly faster, but who gives a shit?
Yeah, exactly.
After that, you probably go to Ice Palace, I would guess.
I might do Swamp Palace and just skip the left side.
Yeah.
Depending on how bad I feel.
I think what I would do is probably Helmasaur King, Ice Palace, then do Swamp and skip left side, and then go to GT. If nothing of that amounts to anything. The silvers were in Pod, which Megawatt. Well. Let's just say Megawatt might have forgotten Pod exists, and that could be a problem.
Yeah, I'd be on two trains of thoughts. It's like I'm either doing all the dungeons before GT or I'm going to GT first.
Yeah, but I figure, like, at least Helmasaur King, there's 0 time loss to just doing that first.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and
Ice
GT is like...
would argue...
Yeah.
Like,
well, the other two dungeons you have to go in.
Checks. Yeah.
But like GT's in a fairly accessible spot, too, so...
Yeah, like, if you hit go mode before... you go into Ice Palace again, you get to skip these 2 chests and save like a minute. It's also worth considering that Swamp Palace is basically just on the way to GT.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, he's going for Helmasaur King, as predicted. I would say Illus might be ahead. Honestly. Like, even discounting the fact that Megawatt has forgotten that Palace of Darkness exists, I might honestly give the edge to Illus right now. I think he's in a better position, which is weird.
Yeah, those flippers have become a huge equalizer. They are in a terrible look.
Yeah, the flippers are really bad for Megawatt. Illus has, well, he knows where Pod is. That helps. But it's kind of weird to say that Illus might be in the lead, given that he's got a 3rd dip into Ice Palace ahead of him, and he's climbed Ganon's Tower twice. But I think I would actually give him the edge right now, weird as it sounds. You gotta be careful there, Megawatt.
This is super risky.
Yeah. I don't know what's... He might have a fairy bottle, I'm not sure what's in his bottle.
Yeah, I hope. Just more skill than me.
Buffs.
Very nice fight. So maybe that Tempered Sword would have saved Illus a little more time than we gave him credit for.
Well, considering he boxed the room, yeah.
He won't be very happy with that, I'm sure, but...
I'm gonna have to... You know what? Nah, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see that. I'm not looking at chat right now. Okay? I'm just not looking.
Yeah, if Helmasaur drops the Eastern Palace key, this might actually, like, I mean,
that's all we need at this point.
Honestly, the best thing for Megawatt right now is that he eliminates everything and realizes he's mistracked Pod and goes on that search. Like, because until he does that, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I mean, I expect he'll clean up the book. That's gross. I expect he'll... It looks like he's doing that. Yeah, he's checking entrances.
Yeah, he's got these 2 hammer entrances here.
He's got these 2. He's got back of Skullwoods. The problem is after he checks all these entrances, he's going to just assume Pods and Pyramid Fairy and go to Swamp so he can get in there. Because I think that'll be his only entrance left at that point. Illus looks like he's heading to Swamp, probably. Probably gonna go to Swamp, but then GT from there. No, we have not seen the other side of the connector, I'm pretty sure, but I expect Megawatt just doesn't want to take it, because it's probably Desert Right. And if
yeah, I think it has to be Desert Right. I'm not tracking connectors, but
yeah, I think that's the only connector we haven't seen. It should be Desert Right, and if it's not, it's gonna spit him out in Skullwoods, GT, or the Pyramid Crack. Neither of
yeah, either way, he can access any door he can enter from the outside at this point, basically, right? So
Illus forgetting the key. I think Illus might be a little bit frazzled right now.
that's totally understandable.
Yeah.
And Megawatt opting for the GT play first.
No, I mean as in that.
Oh, he doesn't have the
connection
flippers,
right
derp. He can't go into Swamp yet.
Yeah.
And by opting, I mean going for the play he has available.
Yeah, I mean, I expect once Megawatt's out of here, he's going to Skullwoods to check that entrance.
Well, he can't check it yet, right? Because of the fire rod.
Oh yeah, he doesn't. Ah.
I guess the other question is, where on earth is the fire rod?
As far like Megawatt thinks Pod is either fire rod locked in Skullwoods or locked behind Swamp in the Pyramid Ferry entrance at this point. Presumably.
And Illus not messing around with the left side, no surprise there yet.
Yeah. He might go back in, but I expect he'll do GT basement first. Since GT's just right next door. And Megawatt appears to be short on GT keys. I guess he didn't grab the mini helmet key upstairs.
Yeah, I don't think he did. That's an easy thing to forget. I've done that before, and had it be a big problem for me.
Pod key. Yeah, I've definitely forgotten to grab that key before if I've done the climb before.
Yeah, I didn't even really forget as much as I never even considered grabbing it in that scenario before, and it was sort of like a lot of things in entrance. You make the mistake once and you learn from it, right?
Yeah, entrance is a lot of those little things where you fuck up once and you're like, oh well, let's not do that again, and then you don't do that again.
Like, I will never forget that the top of Castle is a place that exists ever again.
Right?
I'll never forget that you can mirror to the powder hole when you don't have the hammer.
Yeah, and I'll never forget that you can hookshot from the top end of Bumper Cave.
Oh god. I think that happened in my second race, and I was just like, I have no idea what I missed.
So, Megawatt is going back for the pod entrance, I guess. Oh yeah, that's right, he might think pod's
Yeah, he hasn't checked this either. He's thinking vanilla.
Illus appears at Swamp Palace, does not find the big key he's looking for. We'll see if he opts to go back in. I imagine he probably won't. At least not yet. GT's right down the street, and yeah, he's going to GT first.
Exactly, and without the consequences of the draining animations that you have to watch in a regular mode, it's a much less painful double.
Yeah, Swamp isn't nearly as bad to double dip in entrance, since you don't have to drain the dam and waste a minute there every time. So we'll see what Megawatt does next.
So where is this eastern big key? Left side Swamp?
I mean, it could be rando roam. Megawatt got key locked in GT.
That's right.
Yeah, we really... Yeah, it could be
Tablets, that would be great.
Let's see, what else do we have left?
I mean, behind any of the fire rod lock spots would be horrible.
We have Spike Cave somewhere. I don't think we got a hint for that. Thieves Done Big Just is a thing.
Oh yeah, and that's in logic too.
Let's see.
So it would have been really funny. Where's the Hyrule Castle small key if there actually had been anything down there? This
Right.
locked behind all 4.
And that stupid hammer.
Yeah, Spike Cave is right next to Bomber Cave in Kak.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know where that is. I just remember you saying that about 2 hours ago. So.
Yeah, I just checked my tracker. It's a kid's house. The Spike Cave. Yeah, we've got Spike Cave.
Well, so Megawatt's actually gonna. He hasn't checked these fake flipper entrances yet either.
Yeah.
I mean, he should know about Ice Palace, but.
It's not in GT. Tablets. Outside Swamp. Really not a lot of spots left. Mimic Cave. Mimic Cave's at the Foothills Cave. We know that from my hand. That's another item location.
Oh, that's where it's gonna be. Well, Illus is about to pick up all his fetch quests and feels terrible.
Yeah, Megawott gonna clean up Landmola's here. Getting that nice quick pot throw because of the weird waterwalk state he's in.
Yeah, that always is very interesting. Because sometimes you get hit by the enemy and you just sink into the floor and warp to weird spots.
Like that.
Pod in this location the other day was really funny because there's so many pots you have to pick up. And you never get the bomb when you pick up the pot in this.
That is correct, Allison. We are looking for the Eastern Big Key. Megawott, unfortunately, is also looking for Palace of Darkness, which we have reason to believe he has mismarked on his tracker. So that could be a problem. And Megawott also needs the flippers, which are in the first chest in Turtle Rock, which is in the chest game. And yes, the Eastern Big Key could, in theory, be on the pedestal, but we would need the Fire Rod, 2 Turtle Rock small keys, and a Scalded small key for that to be logic.
So it's definitely there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Illus deciding left side swap's a place he wants to check last, and I don't blame him at this point either.
Yeah, I mean, you know you have to go through Ice Palace anyway, and checking these 2 chests here is probably faster than left side swap.
I think it is faster for sure, especially since you have to come in here. If you were just YOLOing these 2 chests somehow, I don't know why you'd end up in that scenario. Well, I know exactly why, because I've done it before. You clear out Eastern Ice Palace without the hammer, you go mode Ice Palace, and then your go mode's in the right side of it. Yeah, I feel like those tablets are pretty spicy right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm not normally like a big head checker or anything like that, but the fact that they don't have the Fire Rod means like they're never gonna go check that, and it's still for out of logic anyway still. But
I mean, if I get the Fire Rod,
well, if I got the Fire Rod, I'd be going and opening that door and checking pet immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I got the Fire Rod, the first thing I would do was probably just kill Mothula and turn in the green pendant. At this point.
Yeah, and those two right side chests in TR are another really. I mean, they're not, I guess, technically Fire Rod locked. You can get them theoretically without the Fire Rod, but I'm not sure I've ever seen someone do that in a race. I've seen people.
I've seen Zero Rush do it exactly once. I don't think it was in a race though.
Yeah, he was the one I saw do it too, and I'm sure what I saw was a clip from him practicing.
You'd have to be a pretty serious maniac to actually hover anything in Turtle Rock other than just the Trinex gap. That one I can
for
see.
sure. Yeah, because it's swag, and you know you're last at that point. You know, I get that. If I could do it, I would do that for sure.
I mean, I've seen people do it in engines to skip the cane. It's a thing, but it's a really long hover.
Yeah, but if you're consistent at it, and you're okay, say I fall 5 times, it's better than looking for the cane for 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Megawott is going back in for the save stamp big chest.
Yeah, he's got to be very confused about now.
I would imagine the front of Turtle Rock has probably slipped his mind. At this point. Shut up, Lynn. Well, it's a sword that Illus is probably never getting.
That's a great location for that tempered sword. Oh my god.
Yeah. Not sure where Megawott is headed now. This looks to be
This is Mimic Cave, right? Oh no, Spike Cave, that's right.
Yeah, I would imagine Megawott has maybe just forgotten he didn't check that chest. I'm not sure. Entirely uses E from Medallion.
But Bird Toss in a place we'll know we're never gonna go. And I'm not even sure if Myra's medallion was. Oh, it's wait, I'm on the track now.
Bird Toss is a dumb meme anyway.
Dude, every meme is a dumb meme.
Yeah, that's true.
Except the one time. Yeah, this is getting pretty close to a 216. 216. I mean, we've missing the fire rod, so there's a bunch of spots left. They really have very few options left. Combined, tablets, swamp. Right side TR if they find the fire rod.
Illus has really stupid fetch quests like the mushroom and hair base.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Okay, here's Mimic Cave. That's the fire rod.
Oh, great.
Here we go.
So the next couple things we're going to be finding are TR small keys, right? And by couple, I mean like 2.
Yeah. So I would assume, yeah, Megawatt's going straight for the entrance because he thinks it's probably pod.
For sure.
We know it's not. And I believe that was actually Illus's first Turtle Rock small key.
I just saw it light up as one, and I'm going to trust the trackers.
I guess Illus is also going back in for this. Yeah, both runners must feel absolutely terrible right now.
Oh god, yeah.
I mean, Illus especially. He's gone into Ice Palace 3 times. He's climbed Ganon's tower twice. He
double dipped Meyer unnecessarily.
That too.
Not that it's necessarily as bad as the other two things, but he's got a lot of reasons.
And now he's going back into Thieves' Town for the big chest. Like, he's got to be feeling horrible right now. The flippers are in the first chest in the front of Turtle Rock, which is in Village of Outcasts, the chess game house.
Interesting to see where Megawatt's going here.
I believe the chest Megawatt didn't open was the pinball room, which is just always a small key anyway. Megawatt might be more inclined to go back to the front of T-Rock now that he has the Fire Rod. Looks like he's going to Mafia though.
Well, and if it's an item that slipped his mind, he certainly knows he hasn't checked those 2 chests yet.
Yeah, exactly. And once he goes there, he might remember.
Yeah, I can't imagine him going there and forgetting it.
Yeah, Megawatt checked back of Skullwoods. It was nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't have the book to check the pedestal, unfortunately, even though it's incredibly unlikely that anything's there. And by anything, I mean specifically the Eastern Palace Big Key.
Yeah.
Sprinting out of Spike Cave is one of my favorite entrance things.
It feels really good. Just spin speed out of there with Burnout.
It really never makes sense to do in a regular mode either.
Yeah, not really. Like, I guess maybe if you want to hookshot across to East Death Mountain after checking Spike Cave to go to Turtle Rock or something, but...
Yeah, and that would be fine because you get magic refills in that route too, right? Because that's the consideration. If you're leaving Spike Cave, even if you want to flute somewhere, you don't want to burn all your magic necessarily.
Yeah. But, like, I don't think I've ever done it outside of Entrance. Coming up. We have not had a hint for Green Pendant. Well, Illus is about to get that Fire Rod now. I don't believe Illus did the right side GT bomb jump, so he might do that first, since GT's like right here anyway. And then he can run over east and do Skullwoods from there, I guess. Megawatt buddy, you've got the booties. You can bonk off the tree.
Well, Megawatt's kind of heading in the right direction here.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anything marked there. He must have a bad feeling about this area. Because I know sometimes when I'm playing, and I won't necessarily mark it on my tracker, but I will, like, have a feeling in the back of my mind that I've forgotten it.
We know he missed something. Pod is right
here. Oh,
this
isn't good, though.
Oh, yeah. Yikes. Yeah, Pod is the open cave in the light world there, which Megawott has not found. Or, well, he was there, but he forgot to go in. Completing his entirely worthless medallion collection. I'm sure he's very pleased about this.
I mean, what does the Ether medallion get on eBay these days?
We can assume he forgot. I mean, he's just double checking stuff now. I would assume he thinks he's out of spots because he's forgotten Pod, and he seems to have forgotten about Front of Turtle Rock as well.
I mean, he did check Thieves Town.
Yeah. Illus... Ether Tablet, I guess?
Yeah, it looks like.
We have not seen a hint for that side swamp that I can recall. I think Illus just opted to skip it because he feels behind.
That's exactly right. They just both feel terrible, and I mean, not that Mega's been in there, but...
Oh, well, you're on the right track, Megawott. Just walk a few doors over. Well, here we go. I believe that was... What was that on each other? I didn't see.
Oh, he didn't even have this marked on his tracker either.
And it looks like Illus is probably going there as well for the 2 Firelock chests.
totally makes sense, and probably just sprint around to something like the Bombos medallion if he doesn't find it here. It feels like it's going to be here.
Yeah.
All that crap leading to the hammer, leading to the fire rod, this has to be it, right?
I mean, you'd think so. But, oh, very unfortunate barring timing there, as per usual.
One of the first things I read was don't swing at those, and the number of times I do and knock it off is way higher than the number of times I kill.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is. Okay, that's gonna be go mode for Illus in just a second. And it is technically also go mode for Megawatt.
Yeah, this is the worst feeling possible in entrance.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm pretty sure the only spot he has left, he's thinking it's Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, I mean, he thinks he... Yeah, see, he's skipping. He thinks he just needs to clear this dungeon, do Pyramid Fairy, and pod's there. But... Oh. Yeah, he's in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, Illus Beeline Easter Palace, no surprise there. It's the most, I mean, it's the only way to get there.
Yeah.
It's in the Dark World one, right? Not the Light World? I can't remember. Yeah, because I got the mirror so late, that's right, yeah.
Illus is gonna win this most likely. I would say almost certainly at this point. Yeah, same, Lynn. I was in that race.
Was that the one I forfeit out because I found my mirror an hour and a half after I died in Ganon's Tower, right before?
I think so, yes. It was also the one where Jack won by 12 minutes, because he just went to the progression, I guess.
He's quite good at this game, too, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I was so mad at that one, too, man.
That's super dumb. It got even dumber later, don't you worry.
I'm not worried, that's why I forfeit. This is going nowhere good.
Because the hook shot was in Bombo's tablet, and hammer was in Hookshot Cave. And last occasion, that pretty good. But anyway, Illus is gonna be wrapping up Eastern Palace, getting a 7 crystal here in just a minute. And Ganon is somewhere.
I think he's in the useless fairy hole.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. That sounds pleasant, really. In open mode, yeah, it feels like every time you get an early Ice Rod, TR's dependent, but I feel in Cross Keys the same doesn't really apply.
Yeah, I feel like that's a massive dose of confirmation bias.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I don't know, the seed really wasn't that bad. Both players just kind of botched it really badly in various ways.
Yeah, there was a couple key sequencing things in this seed to prevent yourself from having a headache. The first one was not going into Ice Palace until you had the Ice Palace big key, and the second one, for Illus specifically, was not going up GT until you had the hook shot.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, those two problems were linked together for him.
Megawatt.
Illus been practicing his spins.
Megawatt's going to clean up Eastern Palace now. Yes. It's fighting the old pig. Well, at this rate, Megawott might find Pod before Illus finishes.
If I could have been on anything in this world, it would have been on Ganon warping 800 times in this season.
Okay, this is kind of ridiculous. I stopped counting, but that was like 15 or something.
Yeah, that's one of those things like blue balls and Aga that I'm not able to count because I lose my interest before I finish.
I don't bother counting blue balls in rando because it's like everyone gets the same blue balls anyway. Who cares? But in MMG, I always make sure to keep count. In any case, Illus takes down Ganon.
GG's to Illus.
We'll take game 1 in this best of 3 series.
A nice cool 235-34.
So we'll see. Megawott looks like he's opting to finish because he thinks he's in go mode. I suspect he'll probably forfeit when he realizes Pod is not a Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah. He might even just, even if it was there, if he just found it, he might forfeit even at that point anyway. It's just unfortunate. Yeah, and Lynn, he pulled a U. He actually never spied it. He just ghosted.
Yeah, and we are joined by Illus. Hello.
GG.
GG Illus.
What a seed.
That
it was a thing.
Good. You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, Goomba.
I made this.
We knew it was going to be good. So what was your favorite part, Illus? Was it the hammer location or the mirror location?
The hammer location was pretty obvious since I didn't have any checks left anyway. So, when I found the mirror, I wanted to forfeit on the spot because I had a read that maybe something's in Ice Palace, so they're really, really early. But I just found a bunch of small keys, and yeah, turns out I needed a big key for the mirror, and it was my pretty much absolute last location, and it felt really, really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we were rambling about Ice Palace the whole time too.
So while you were busy climbing GT twice and triple dipping Ice Palace, Megawott has been on a slightly different misadventure.
What happened to him? I'm pretty perplexed.
Forgot. I would assume he forgot about the Throne of Turtle Rock and got his flippers super, super late, and now he thinks he's gonna bring the big bomb to the pyramid to open up the entrance to find Palace of Darkness, except it's not there. Because he seems to have mismarked that as well.
Yeah, he never actually went into Palace of Darkness. He checked the other two entrances in the Ice Rod Cave area and skipped the open door.
Oh, yeah, that stinks.
Yeah, feels bad.
He's already switching to the Cane of Samaria.
Well, he seems a bit confused here.
Oh, this is... I shouldn't laugh, but he's a friend of mine.
This feels bad.
Yeah.
And I've been there myself, so yeah, it's really... Yeah, we realized it about halfway through when it would have made total sense for him to dip into Pod, and he just didn't do it.
Megawatt forfeits. No surprise there, I guess.
And I was watching IRC after like 2 hours, and thinking about when is Megawott done already? Like, I cannot believe this happened.
Yeah, you both managed to spectacularly botch that seed in very different ways. It was pretty good.
This only makes me hate Ice Palace even more.
I don't know. If
I won't.
Good.
I won't dip Ice Palace soon anymore. Holy crap. GG Megawatt.
Illus.
Oof.
And Goomba, with all due respect, you're never rolling another seed in your fucking life, so long as I have something to say about it.
Look, man, I told you, don't blame me. Blame Nornado and Void. They gave me the power.
Okay, look. I thought his seed rolling skills would be better than mine. That's why I let him roll it.
I mean, okay, Void. Look, it depends on your definition of better, right?
Okay.
Like, how do you define better?
Less time than my seeds.
I think it was
Okay,
entertaining to watch for people, maybe.
Probably.
If you're the Lin, if you're the commentator for the next game, then yes, you'll probably be offered the ability to roll the seeds. So as long as you're commentating, you're good to have the chance, and make these people regret it.
Yeah, that was a fun seed. No items, all the things in bad location.
Yeah, that one was.
I have one question, by the way, because I thought I was in go mode until I found out I wasn't, because I apparently mismarked something. Where's Pod?
Pod's Ice Rod Cave.
Is it really?
The cave next to
the
Ice
cave
Rod
next
Cave.
to
Next to
Ice
Ice Rod Cave, the open one.
Oh. Oops.
You never looked at it.
That's a big mistake.
Yeah.
A bit.
Fuck me, I guess.
You probably would have won easily if that hadn't happened.
No. Trust me, no.
There were definitely
my issues.
Megawatt. Don't tell yourself.
I assume you forgot about the Throne of Turtle Rock. We were wondering about that one.
Yeah, I mismarked. I knew I'd found it. I just didn't mark it because I'm dumb.
Right.
So because like the only thing I knew was that I'd found it while I was carrying the smith along with me. So I knew it had to be like one of those things that I checked with the smith.
Right, that makes
So in that 45 minutes you were walking around with the smith.
Yep.
Oh no, that's super unfortunate. Yeah. But yeah, GG's again.
But yeah, while you were busy doing that, Illus had some fun.
Yeah, let's call it fun.
Illus may have gone into Ice Palace without the big key.
Oops.
And when he was down to Ice Palace Big Chest, or climbing Ganon's Tower without the hookshot, let's just say he made the wrong choice.
Oh no.
And of course, the seed being the seed, you can never just climb Ganon's Tower without the hookshot, find nothing, and then not have to go back up there. So.
Yep. For the hammer of all things.
What a great adventure. At least I knew it was the GT climb because I literally had nothing else left.
Yeah. I mean, we figured, like, when you got the mirror, you did all the mirror spots. And then you found the hookshot and you did all the hookshot spots, which is to say you did hookshot cave.
Yeah.
And then it was just GT again. Yeah, that seed was interesting.
Must have been quite the clown fiesta. We are in top 8, by the way.
I think it was a good
How did we get here again?
explanation of the tournament of how random these seeds are.
I mean, there's been a lot of clown fiestas in this tournament.
That's true.
Yeah, does anyone who got eliminated think that they didn't shoot themselves in the forehead to get themselves eliminated? That they were like, oh, I did my best and lost. Everyone in this tournament, it seems like, I forgot this thing and that's why. Entrance. Why do we even play this?
Yep.
Well, on that note, I guess it's a good time to wrap this up. So, thank you to our 2 runners for suffering through that seed. Thank you, Goomba, for rolling that awful seed for them.
You're welcome.
Thank you for...
I have different words than thank you, but alright.
Hey, let's keep them to the private Discords now.
Yeah. You can complain about it in the Discord, okay? Thank you, Frostbite, for enjoying Goomba's tragedy of a seed that he rolled with us. And thank you to Siberian and Nato for both for tracking alongside with us. That being said, there's only one match tonight, which is the Zelda 2 randomizer match between Lightning and Rose City Saints. So if you want to see more randomizer, that's tonight. Other than that, I'm going to end things off here. So thank you everyone for watching, and see you guys next time.